I'm Si. Welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. We're back for another exclusive interview, and I'm delighted that we are joined once again by the lads from Honey Motel. Don't forget that this week's episode is, as always, powered by Violent Money. Check out violentmoney.co.uk. Use the code ACE20. Get 20% off all their apparel and training gear and the rest of it, including their collaboration with Weekend Defender. Don't forget that. But check them out, as always, because they support us. But on to this good stuff. Really looking forward to it again. Had a really good laugh and a good time the last time we spoke to the boys. Delighted to be joined by Sam and Walker from Honey Motel. Welcome back, boys.
Hello, mate. You okay? Nice to see you again.
Indeed, mate. It's good. It was good. It done pretty good numbers as well for a little small channel like my own.
Yeah, we were very happy with the numbers it did last time. I think it was one of our first kind of shows that we did where we were like, fucking hell, people are actually interested in us. Quite surprised. Just two lads from Liverpool just chatting shit, and all of a sudden it gets quite good numbers. It's quite surprising, man. Stuff like that happens.
The thing with it is there's a couple of things which I know is with my podcast is one, people like seeing I know footballers, musicians, whatever it may be, but they like seeing the real person rather than the generic interviews and press, like just the automatic responses.
Definitely.
They like to see
that's always more interesting.
Yeah, of course it is.
Learning about the actual people behind the screen. That's what I've always thought. Like from my point, like with musicians, I'm always interested in like learning about the musicians themselves and not just listening to the music. It kind of gives it another angle, I reckon.
Yeah, and plus you get to know like influences, whether it's what they're into, what bands they like now, what music they like, what they like, what they do away from it. It just it's like a vast just a thing of learning different things about the people you're interested in and talented people.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other thing I was going to say is like you don't see a lot of bands doing podcasts, really. Like you might see the odd one or two. No, you
don't really.
But there's not a great deal of them around. Like I've had yourselves and had the Crooks on. Who I don't think they're even still going now. So I hope I haven't cursed. I hope I don't end up cursing you, like I cursed them apparently. But
yeah.
But like I'm like because I'm interested in music. I like all sorts of music from like rock and roll, indie, whatever, and like I like a bit of hip hop and drum and bass and that as well. Like I'm interested in speaking to people from different types of music as well. Like I said to you just now, I've had quite a few like rappers and MCs on recently in the last year since we spoke, and I found it really interesting just hearing their stories because some of them are not what you'd expect. There was one guy, Jay Speaks, who's like a rapper, but like I had him in the studio and I expected it to go one way in my head before, not having ever met him. And we ended up spending about 50 minutes talking about like positivity and positive vibes, and like it was very Joe Rogan. Like, surprised we didn't get onto like DMT or something. But it's interesting, man. It's just like speaking to different people, isn't it?
It's mad that you said that you haven't seen many bands on podcasts, because I've felt over like the last year in Liverpool, loads of bands seem to be. So there's a podcast in Liverpool called The 10th Pint. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I know of it, yeah.
Yeah, loads of bands are going on that. But before then, you're right, I hadn't seen many. But they seem to be, a lot of Scouse bands are going on that podcast. Before then, not really seen many. But it seems to be getting more popular for musicians. Like,
I think on a whole as well, Liverpool is big for podcasts.
Yes,
like
mate,
you got Have a Word podcast, you've got a 10th Pint, you've got Chat and Pony with Paddy the Baddie, you've got the Hot Water Green Room. These are all massive.
Mild High as well.
Mild High, yeah. And these are all coming out of Liverpool.
It's got Scousers love fucking chat and shit.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Like chatting, man.
But they're all good. All those podcasts you mentioned, they're really good. And like Have a Word is my go-to podcast. Like, it's funny as
Have a Word's my go-to podcast as well. I'm a Patreon for them. I just find them absolutely so funny.
But that is like, do you know why that I find them so funny? Is like, one, it's my sort of humor, but also like Mock the Week, where back when Frankie Boyle was on Mock the Week, right? Mock the Week was quality back in the day with like Frankie Boyle and that. But since they fired him or let him go, it's just got worse and worse. And like all comedy around sort of stand up on TV, it's just shite.
Well, I think what's great about comedy is that it like goes back to the times of like the medieval times when there was like the jesters in the court, and obviously they were the funny ones, but the truth was they were the only ones who told the truth. And I was thinking about this today because I'm not sure if you've seen the clip. Joe Lycett is on a television show, and Liz Truss has just done a speech or something on it, and he starts sarcastically clapping, and everybody's kicking off like, oh, how does Joe Lycett have the balls to be doing something like that to the new prime minister? And it's like he's telling the truth of the public, like probably 50% of the public. I think like that's what comedians are so useful for, is telling the truth but making people laugh about it at the same time.
Going back to what you said then about comedians as well, there is a bit more, I think there's like an underground comedy world sort of like bubbling up, and as you're saying, like Mock of the Week's not that funny anymore, and I think it's because I just joke, you can't joke anymore, or you can, but the backlash you get from telling certain jokes, and I think like that underground scene just doesn't give a fuck still, so that's why people want to go to Have a Word. Is it Have a Word? Is it the podcast? Because they still don't give a fuck. They're not trying to not say anything, you know what I mean? But, you know, shows like Mock of the Week, they are like bending to that social narrative and then get scared to say stuff. So then the jokes become watered down and you end up watching it and you're like, fucking shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A lot of the jokes on it is like, the jokes just become just so asinine. Like they're not even funny at that point. Like, and I think when you've got podcasts, and particularly it shows that people want to be able to joke about anything. With, you know, there is obviously a line, everyone's got their own line, haven't they, in terms of what they deem acceptable as a joke, but it shows that people want that sort of comedy in how quickly the Have a Word has grown. There was a point when they started that they were around the same sort of numbers and views and stuff as what I got, and then they just went whew, and flew off because they were giving something there to the people that people wanted and people still want.
Well, I think what's great about Have a Word is that it's like the Patreon episode. Obviously, they can joke to a certain extent on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and whatever, because not, you know, you can't, it's tough to just stumble across a podcast and then get offended like you can on TV. Like you can just be flicking through the channels on TV and you just stumble upon something and then you watch it. It's harder to stumble upon a podcast on Spotify. But then they've got the next level of the Patreon, where even on the Patreon they are like 10 times more almost offensive sometimes. Like you said, Si, like that's my kind of comedy as well. That's what really makes me laugh. And there's a place to do that because you're not going to pay for something £3 a month or whatever and then get offended at it, are you? There's no chance that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like you say, you're not going to stumble across something like that. And I think they in the whole sort of 2 or 3 years they've been doing it, or 2 years they've been doing it, I think it is, they've had one kind of incident where people got a bit offended. And like even that was, I think, because they put that particular bit out as a clip rather than people, you know, came across it on the full episode. Right. They put it out as a clip, and it just sort of you're drawing attention to it then, and you. So I suppose
I suppose you are, aren't you? If you put that out as a singular clip, you are drawing more attention to that one part, and then
it's like
I wasn't aware of that.
It's like when Sam said that really offensive thing last time, and then I should have clipped it out and like put it out there and stuff.
Yeah.
What are you on about, lad? I said nothing.
Never happened.
Yeah, you don't swear, you do.
No, good boy. Don't swear. Read the Bible every night. Say me prayers. Kiss me nan every time I see her. I'm sound, mate.
It wasn't on the episode, so it didn't exist. That's as far as I'm concerned.
That's the thing, though, innit? Like,
disappeared.
obviously, you. That's the thing, though, innit? Like, you do have to, when you're in public, you don't want to be rude to people, and you want to respect people, and of course, that's why, you should do that. But there becomes a certain point when, like, you can't change who you are as long as who you are isn't a disgusting person. You know what I mean? Like, to the depths of disgusting, which we all know what them levels are, but people, you know what I mean? People take jokes out of context and comments out of context. People read into everything. And, like, you might say something and you're like, oh, you meant that by that. And you're like, I never, it was just a passing comment, but go ahead. But I feel for comedians, I'm glad I'm writing music and not jokes, because I couldn't be arsed with the backlash of people with songs. No one knows what the fuck you mean in the lyrics. So you just say what you want and no one knows. But with jokes, couldn't be. Comedians put up with a lot, like.
Yeah, it's difficult, and like there is nothing worse than seeing someone say something. Like I've seen it about like a handful of times over the last couple of years with like Joe Rogan and some other podcasters and comedians and stuff online. Is in the full episode they'll be talking about something and there'll be context to it, and they'll be explaining their point, and then someone will take out they'll clip like a sentence or a little bit out of it. And then they'll be like, oh, they need to be cancelled, all the normal shit. And it's like, yeah, they did say that bit that you've put out, but they also add like a massive bit of context to it before that. And I find it really, it frustrates me how disingenuous people are. And then people get offended over something which they will never watch. They've got no interest in watching or listening to. And it's like, doesn't really matter then, does it? Because it's not affecting you. But
the interest stems from the adrenaline rush of like cancelling someone and writing something on Twitter and commenting on how disgraceful it is how anybody can say something like that when, like you said, firstly they don't actually know the context of where that's coming from.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like,
I was gonna say there's no room either. Sorry, sir. I was gonna say there's no room to say sorry either.
Yeah,
like Joe Rogan did say some grim stuff. I remember the clips that come out.
Of course he did.
And but he apologized, and like it's like in this common culture, like there's no room for apology. You know what I mean? And genuine apology. He put a big video of genuinely apologizing to the people who he'd upset and asked for forgiveness, but like they're still on this like mad charge to take him down. But it showed like in the end it passes, and you're like, what was all that about? Or I remember like his podcast, he was having a lot of scientists on, and he had to put COVID-19 warnings on every podcast because like genuine people, involved in epidemiology and science were coming on giving opinions on the vaccine, and not every scientist agrees on everything. And the people who were listening weren't, intelligent enough to decide for themselves what information they want to take on. Well, they probably were. His actual listeners were. It's as you say, then people who join for 5 seconds get a clip and then take it off and put it on Twitter going, Joe Rogan spreading misinformation. And he's just one example of how, genuine listeners won't be fuming and genuine listeners have the context, but you always get those nutcases who just take it out of context and do what they want with it.
The thing is, though, right, it's like with anything, politics, COVID, music, comedy, TV, whatever, like nothing will ever change for the better or worse. But, if you want things to evolve and get better, so you look at like the energy crisis, not that I particularly want to talk about politics, but like you look at the energy crisis now and people are panicking about how they're going to pay their bills and stuff. Like, can you imagine if the government said, right, you can't talk about that because you don't know, you're not an expert in gas or electric or whatever, so you can't talk about it. And it's like you'd never get anything done if only certain only the experts which are picked by certain, a certain select people can talk about stuff. Nothing would ever evolve past.
Yeah, I do see your point, but also at the same time, I think sometimes it may be if there's anybody from America listening out there, sometimes I think free speech can be a bit dangerous because you've got people. This is taking it to one extreme, but like flat earthers, for example, they just don't deserve to talk about anything. If they believe the earth is flat, and it's things like that, and people can spread misinformation so easily nowadays with the power of like social media. I remember watching. Do you remember watching that? It was called The Social Network. It was on Netflix, and when everybody watched it, and it was all about how easy misinformation can spread over social media. And it's a really interesting watch because misinformation is so amazing and like exciting. It spreads so much quicker than genuine information.
Well, it's like when like the paper that won't be named or the other tabloids, like when they like say something which is untrue about someone, it's front page everywhere. When they apologize because they were talking absolute horseshit, it's like a little tiny box, you know, on page 11 or something, so no one ever sees the apology. And it's like when something spreads, because like you say, it's exciting, it's like the anti narrative, if you like, it's going to spread like wildfire with the internet now. But then
I think I agree with you, Si. Walker was saying that you know, people like flat earthers shouldn't be allowed to give their opinion. Like, you know, their opinion is, you know, unintelligent, but I don't believe the way to change someone's opinion is to shut them up and you're not allowed to speak. I think
they dig in more.
I think, yeah, exactly. The best free speech should, no matter how horrible it is, you're gonna say, let them say it, and then bring them over to your side with better speech. You know, if you're gonna try and get anyone on board with an idea, you're never gonna do it by putting them in a box and locking the door and go, you never say that again. You're best bringing them on board and being like, listen, how you're thinking about whatever it is, flat earth, let me show you that it's not flat. Let me, you know, you need an intelligent person who understands, you know, science or, you know, geography or whatever. But yeah, I don't believe ever boxing anyone up is the way to do it. Same way, like, there's a guy, ever heard of a guy called Daryl Davis? No, it's this American blues musician, and he's a black guy, and he's converted over 200 KKK members to leave the Klan. And like, when I first heard about him, like, my head was bast. I was like, a black guy who's talking to KKK members and converting them. But his whole philosophy is, these people aren't going to go away if we just box them up. You know what I mean? And that's one of the most heinous groups ever, the KKK. You know, it's disgusting what they're about. But he brings them back to reality by speaking to them. And people have the opinion, oh, there's no point wasting your time on people like that. And there's loads of things which people can believe which are horrible. But I think, you know, it's our duty as humans to try and bring them back on board, because at the end of the day, we've all got to live together. We've all got to be, you know, in this country together or in this world together. And you can't just lock someone in a cage for an idea and throw away the key. You've got to show them the light, show them the right idea or what you believe to be the right idea, and hope that they buy into it.
So what's your opinion on prison then, and jail? Because that's kind of it's slightly different, but it's slightly the same idea. How somebody does something wrong and you lock them away.
Yeah, but that's physical action. That's not free speech.
Kind of interesting.
Like free speech doesn't, like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but free speech isn't physically hurting anyone. Free speech, there's some horrible things. Oh yeah, and as I say, I think racism is in that box where you shouldn't be allowed to say racist terms, but there's that, you know, who is the great controller who decides what you can and can't say. I don't believe there is one. I just believe that the social landscape that we create has just got to, you know, we've got to develop our own model sort of codes where we hold each other accountable for the things we say, and bring people who have these bad ideas back to a side where maybe it's just more, you know, retrain the brain of them rather than never try and retrain them and throw away the key, as I say. But yeah, going on now.
No, it's do you know, I didn't even know how we got onto this, but it's interesting. I nonetheless, it's quite interesting.
You said how you didn't want to talk about politics, but we're talking about free speech, and I think that's worse than politics.
It's interesting though, and like to a certain degree. But do you know why? Like, it's interesting for us, right? Because we could sit here and we could talk about it for like an hour now, and it would be interesting. We'd have some interesting points and whatever, and we probably just have a conversation about it. But there's the reason why I tend to steer away from stuff like that is because there's a certain group of people or types of people, I don't know what it is, but like they just, if you don't agree with them, they like just shout you down and that, and just like you're this, you're that, and it's just I just can't be bothered with it. Like you should be allowed to talk about
like
it.
Once people have made their mind up, like you said before about apologies, once they've made their mind up, they're not changing their mind.
100%. And to me, especially for like, you know, I'm like I'm nearly 41 now, right? But like, if social media and stuff like that had been around when I was, say, 16 to 28, like, there's no way I'd have a podcast, because especially when I'm like sort of 16 to 22, say, like, I would say all sorts of stupid shit and do all sorts of stupid shit. And like, and I probably would have put it on social media because I thought it was funny or whatever. And like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I just think, I can't almost say now, but like, I would have got cancelled, or I would have got in trouble.
Well, you see that with like some people nowadays. Like I remember when there was a guy called Jack Maynard, and he went on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and it came up like 15 years ago. He posted on Twitter like some I think it was homophobic or something. And it's like, it was that one, it's like that one generation. Because I think like for example, my little brother's 13, and he now, because of the society we live in, he has the knowledge not to post anything like that, because it can come and bite him in the butt in, 5-10 years time. But I think 10 years ago, we didn't have that knowledge that it would come and bite us in the butt. So people were posting random, possibly offensive stuff, and then forgetting about it, and then 10 years later it's coming back and biting them in the butt, and it's scary. It's scary at times.
Yeah, like, it's one of them things, isn't it? Because I would have got myself in all sorts of trouble when I was younger. And maybe because social media wasn't there, then you can't really compare it, because you adapt and you learn. But like, my point being is that when you're young, you make mistakes, you do stupid stuff, and you learn from them. Most people do. And then the people who don't learn are the ones who do end up, in trouble and going down a certain path. But like, you generally learn from your mistakes. If you can't say sorry, and you can't genuinely apologize when you make those mistakes, or it doesn't matter that you apologize, I think that's a problem.
Yeah, like going back to Jack Maynard, I have no idea what he said. I don't know what it was, but just dig off what Walker was saying. If people want to go back and dig through what he said, sweet. And if it is disgusting, then, as you can say, you can bring it up to him and hold him accountable. But as you said, there's got to be that. That's got to be that room for redemption where if he wants to genuinely make up for what he said or done, then allow it. You know what I mean? Don't be saying, well, now you've said it, you're forever cancelled. If he never wants to apologize and wants to stick by him saying something horrible, as you say, if people are never going to grow up, then let him be an idiot. But if he does want to apologize and get on with his life, let him learn his lesson. But obviously, it feels like that the first bit, we hold people accountable, but then we never give them that chance to say sorry. Or maybe we're exaggerating, maybe people do, but it feels that way anyway. But maybe that's us stuck in the social media bubble and only seeing like this cancel culture. And maybe people do get redemption. I don't know.
Yeah, you've got to have time to not time, what's the word? You've got to be able to grow, haven't you? And kind of grow with it and whatnot. But right, let's switch it up a bit. So about a year ago, I think it was about a year ago, you joined me for a chat. It was a good chat. We had a chat about all sorts of different stuff, but obviously it was still pretty heavily into the pandemic, even though we may have been sort of coming on at least the back end of it. What have you been up to since?
We've been up to a lot, really. We've to be honest, we've kind of done everything I think we set out to do when, during the pandemic. Obviously, during the pandemic, we couldn't gig or and it was difficult to release music and create content. But I think what we had in our brain, I think that one of the main things that we wanted to do was play a sold out show, and we a hometown headline, and we managed to sell that out in the October. So that's coming up to about a year ago now. I'm not sure if we did discuss it when we were on a year ago. But we've just been releasing music, playing good gigs, played some festivals in Portsmouth, and so it's going really well, and we're really happy with how everything's going. And we just released a latest single, Cartoons, and I think that's on. I think it got like 5,000 views in a couple of days. I think it's on about 13,000 now. So that's something that we were only dreaming of a year ago, to get that many views on a music video. So really happy with how everything's going. How are you feeling, Samson?
Yeah, just full stop underneath that. Yeah, just played festivals. We played Portsmouth for the first time. That was cool to go down there, and release some music. And now we've got a pile of music which is in the queue to get released, which we've worked on over the last year, and over the next few months, more and more gigs and more music coming out. And we landed on an Apple Music playlist, which we'd never done. New in Rock, which was a big thing for us. Didn't even know we've been on it for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, like, you get notified and it's a big thing, and bands post like straight away, like, oh, fucking hell, been in New in Rock, or been in this playlist on Spotify. And we were on it for nearly 2 weeks, and no one has a clue. Someone just went on to Apple Music, and our streams had like the biggest spike in ever on one song on one specific day. And we were like, what's going on there? And then turns out someone on Apple Music had put us on a playlist next to like Paul Nutini and all big acts, and that, like Muse. And we were, Ozzy Osbourne was on it next to us. We were above Ozzy Osbourne. And heads were battered, and we were just like, how no one even knew that we were fucking on this. So we had to get a post out. But loads of little milestones like that. So been a good year.
And obviously, like this, the last couple of weeks, we've seen like all the festivals returning, probably for the first time. Yeah, so obviously last year, I think there might have been one or two festivals, but you must have been looking at that like over the last few weeks now, where all the festivals are back now this year, like Glastonbury and Reading, Leeds, all of them are like in full flow. Is that an aim for you guys going forward? Like you'd like to start doing that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. Next year we're targeting a lot of the bigger festivals like Why Not and Isle of Wight, and but this year we were lucky enough to play a few. We played Golden Touch Festival in Portsmouth. Okay. I think that was that June? Yeah, about June time. But that was class. That was one of our that was our first festival outside of Liverpool. We played Sound City before in Liverpool. And that was boss. There was loads of people there. And then we were planning to play Away Day Festival, weren't we, in September? But the date's been moved for it because they had some issues getting it set up. I think they planned it too soon. And then they didn't have the stuff. I don't know exactly what went wrong, but it ended up getting pulled. But we managed to get on a few this year, but we're open next year to build, rather than doing 2 or 3, doing 8, 9, 10 and filming a summer out. But we didn't end up actually releasing any music until midsummer. So we took sort of a break at the end of last year to sort of reorganize the band and sort some things that we had going on. So we went missing a little bit, which probably affected our chances of getting on a festival, because we played our headline gig last October and then sort of went on a break until the new year, and then didn't really release anything properly and start releasing content again until like May. But we managed to land on a few, and definitely our aim for next year is to get on some of the bigger slots and get mingling with some of the bigger names. I think even you can see just by the reaction and the views on Cartoons that there's like a hunger for the type of music which you make, and people like what you do, like what you put out there. So I think it's only natural, it's just a natural step that those types of opportunities and festivals are going to come more often for you guys. I think that's gonna happen. You can see that's gonna happen, if that makes sense.
I think I may be biased in saying this, but I think our music is a little bit different to kind of what's coming out at the moment. You've got the kind of like rough and ready, I think, like rock, almost indie rock. But I think our music kind of steps on the line of indie pop rock. It's not just one specific genre of music. I think we try and some of the ideas we try and draw on are from other genres of music. Like Sam's a massive R&B fan, and you said, we were talking about this the other night when I asked him what was the first song you learned on the guitar. Mine was A Horse With No Name by America. Jax, our bass player, was a Green Day song, and I said, what was your first song you learned on the guitar? And he went, do you know, that's something from Lil Wayne. And it's just like some random Lil Wayne song that you'd never expect an indie band. Oh God, look at that, that's good. That you'd never expect an indie band to to listen to. But I think that's important, isn't it, to have a good eclectic listen.
Yeah, fuck talking about what we first sung. That background's heavy.
That's my guy, my man. That's my man Jamie does all my graphics for me.
Yeah, that's sick. That way, just pulled that one out the bag there.
Yeah.
Just like wipe. Well, I think we're standing on Southport Beach there, and you've cropped us out. Got that's the headline gig as well behind it. That was sold out. That's fucking sick. That.
There we go. What's the like? You know, like you said, you played your first festival outside Liverpool. How big a thing is that for you personally? Because obviously, you know, you're Liverpool lads, and that you're obviously going to start in your local area. You're going to build up from there. That's the natural thing to do. And obviously, you're going to have a support from people within that area. But when you go elsewhere, does it create like any anxiety or like, I don't know, like?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think we think about it that deeply, you know, Si. We're idiots. We just get out the van and play. But we've played London, and we've played Portsmouth. We've played outside of Liverpool a few times, Manchester, stuff like that. But we don't really treat it any different unless it's like a hometown headline feels different because everyone's there for you. And I think there's more anxiety around that. There's more anxiety around the hometown shows, actually, yeah. There's less anxiety when you travel because in your hometown, you've got obviously, the local fans who've been with you for years, but you've also got your mum and your dad and your mates, and they're all judging you, and they all call you shit when you get off stage because you're just one of the lads. And, like, that's more nerve-wracking getting on a stage and seeing your mate of 20 years or 18 years. Because, like, you've known him for so long. But going to, like, Portsmouth, you get up on a stage and we don't know anyone in Portsmouth but people who've come to listen to the music. So there's no personal connection. It's just like, they're here to hear this song. We're going to play it. And, yeah, you have, like, but so, yeah, hometown shows, I worry more because I see faces I know. And I don't like seeing faces I know.
Yeah, I can see that. For sure.
The only worry I had was I'm so used to saying Liverpool while I'm on stage. Like, what's happening in Liverpool? I was worried that I was going to go down to Portsmouth and go, what's happening in Liverpool? How are we? And make myself look like a right cock.
The problem is if you played Manchester and said Liverpool or something like that, you might have got like a bottle
that would probably be worse. Yeah, Jack was saying, who was it? Was it Blink 182? No. Oh, My Chemical Romance it was, and they played in Warrington, and they kept saying Manchester. Oh. So apparently that went down like a lead balloon. So just keeping that in the back of my mind is going to be important when we start playing more and more outside of Liverpool. But yeah, it's definitely a milestone. I think we were surprised at the amount of people that knew our music. I think we weren't. One of the reasons I don't think we're anxious is because we've played those gigs in the past where no one's really listening to your music. You're kind of just playing in a bar in the back and you're getting paid 20 quid and a few beers. We're so used to that. So if we go down to Portsmouth and no one's listening to it, we've done that before. But I think we were actually surprised at the amount of people who kind of stayed behind at the end and said hi. Oh my god, I love your music. And you know, people that were, it was a shock seeing people sing along to some of our music in Portsmouth, which is probably one of the furthest places away you can get from Liverpool, apart from like Cornwall and stuff, maybe John O'Groats. But yeah, I think we were pleasantly surprised at the reaction. It was a great gig as well down in Portsmouth. It was one of those festivals where it's like one big room and then one little room, and we were on quite early in the afternoon, and we were on in the little room, and there was only, I think, like 150, 200 people there at the time. And in the big room, because obviously it's a lot bigger, it looked a lot emptier. But when they all came into the little room, it was sweaty as fuck, wasn't it? And the stage was quite small, and that's kind of the vibe that we've come from, is those smaller, sweaty gigs. You know, we haven't come from coming straight off the O2 Academy stages. We've come from, you know, the clubs and the small venues. So it was similar to being back at home, really. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's got to be surreal, like going outside of your city, especially going as far as Portsmouth, and then, you know, people know your music and that. There's got to be like a bit of surrealness to it. But then I suppose with the internet these days, like, it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah. It's not like the old days.
I was going to say, when we were down there, I forget her name now because I did ask for it. Just because I was like made up, she was singing our music, but there was some woman, and she, you know, she wasn't a young woman, you know, she was middle-aged woman, but she sang every song, and I have no idea who she was. I forgot her name completely.
Yeah, normally you can spot the ones that come to all the gigs.
Yeah,
you know, you've got those faces that always appear, but to see someone
in Portsmouth, yeah, she sang every word, and I was like, just on stage, like, shit, she's fucking singing every word.
Well, there you are.
And you could hear it as well.
Lady from Portsmouth. Lady from Portsmouth. Drop it in the comments. See it. You know, if she knows all your music, chances are she might watch this when you were like retweeted or something. So, lady from Portsmouth, drop a comment in the below.
Whoever you are, yeah.
What I just dropped that. Right. What about in terms of like the last year since we last spoke? Like, what's been the hardest part? You said you had to do a bit of restructuring and take a bit of a break. Like, was that a difficult period, or was that just nice to have a break? Or
yeah, it wasn't. We didn't choose to take a break. We just some things went on with like management and that, and we decided to let you know, go our own way again. And drop management. We've been lucky enough since then to pick up different management, and who were you know, won't name names and that because don't want to drop anyone in of the old in it or anyone of the new, but you know, it's been refreshing getting actual good guidance and someone directing us. But yeah, it was just, we had problems with management, basically, like people above us who it was becoming a bit toxic and a bit we didn't really know what was going on with our own band, really. And we just decided to take back control and kick everyone away who wasn't playing an instrument, basically. If you weren't playing an instrument, get the fuck away, you know what I mean? And, so we took a few months off socials and that because we ended up doing things we didn't want to do and stuff like that, and basically just made it about 4 lads in a room again, and then built up again and got new people on boards above us to help us out with, like, you know, socials and content and just basically managing us properly. So yeah, we had to restructure from that department, and it was stressful, but yeah, we got through it because the other option is to not get through it and pack in, which isn't an option. So yeah, we had to, but yeah, stressful nonetheless, sorry, but still alive.
Yeah, I had a similar thing a while back now, like where how can I say this? Because I don't want to, like, same as you, I don't want to name drop and drop people in it, but like basically I had some people come in and help, but they kind of went and started doing things which was like taking things away from me, and like I was like, whoa, now, like, I've built this and I'm not really comfortable with you just telling me that you know, you're going to do this and that. And yeah, it was all a bit, but it was very, what I can say is it's very, very stressful. And the best thing I did was say, right, no, this is, it's mine and the people who are on my team, and that's it. I can't be having, it's difficult, isn't it? Because
you've gotta get, there's nothing wrong with having a team behind you as long as it's the right people, man. And the right people criticize you and give constructive criticism and help you build what you're doing. But the wrong people, man, like, you know, people who we were working with in the past, they were just doing shit that we didn't even know what they were doing. Like, they were like releasing music and we didn't know what was going on with PR and shit behind the scenes, and we weren't allowed to ask questions, and it was just like, this is not healthy, man. As I say, it wasn't about money. We're not making enough money for it to be about money. You know what I mean? It was just about like the creative side of things, and taking back control of like the administrative side of the band, which we had no say in, because it was all getting run backwards. But yeah, it sounds like you've had a similar experience where you've just got to hit that reset button, haven't you? And just say, like, if you're not in the immediate fucking circle, then you need to take a step back. Which with you, I don't know who is the original circle. Is it just you? Is the two people in the original first day of the podcast? Is it just you? Or
so day one was just me, and then just me and my missus. Basically, my missus is like behind the scenes. She just really just supports me, helps me, does a bit of admin and stuff, and just generally does like moderating and stuff as well on like the live shows if there's big crowds and stuff in. And then it's kind of just grown. Like, I got a few guys who are friends, like Rodri and Andy Campbell, he's left now because he's manager of Middlesbrough women's football team, doing very well. But he was a big part of it. And then there's Barry and a couple of other guys who do some Patreon stuff. And it's people I trust. And like, I think, like, I trust all them. And then when someone new came in, it was a difficult adjustment anyway. And I don't particularly have a problem with them, but I didn't like the way they were speaking to me, and I didn't like what they were doing. I didn't like, they took away control of some of the social media side of it. And I was like, that's okay, but you need to still do this, this, and this. And then that was a problem. And it was like, well, you either want to do the social media or you don't. And then, it all got a bit ratty. And in the end, I just said, it's better if I just do it and with my people, and we'll go from there, because it was just going to end up in like a big fallout. And I think ultimately, like, I take pride in what I've built largely on my own, but with the help of some friends. And like, I'm protective over it then, isn't it? Like, I don't want someone to come in and just take it away. Like, whenever people have contacted me about some of the football shows and putting them on different broadcasters or other places, I've been quite protective over that and said, like, well, of course we'd like to get paid, and that's the point, isn't it? At the end of the day, like, ultimately, but I also don't want you to take control of it and just turn into something it's not. And it's a rocky thing, because so with your band, like, you care, you built it, you make the music, you care about it, and if you feel like you're losing a bit of control of it, I don't know, it's a rocky waters, I suppose, and it's stressful.
Well, the thing is, it's like, we've been doing this for 5-6 years now, so we can't, obviously we're not major music superstars or anything, but we kind of know the rubric of what we need to do in order to become successful. And then all of a sudden people are coming in and saying we need to do the opposite of what we've already been told by other people, and this, that, and the other. And you kind of like, hold on, you're meant to be coming in and helping us. You're actually kind of hindering us at times, it seems. In the past, not at the moment. We're very lucky where we are at the moment. We've got a good team back behind us. But it's just like, people are meant to be here to help us, and you're not. So we like Sam said, we had to take back control. So we yeah, we stripped it back to how it used to be, just us four, and then yeah, started again. We I think we just went into the more creative stage again. We fell back into just writing loads of demos, writing lots of music, because like that's how we started, just writing very shit music. Yeah, but I think we've come a long way to writing better music, but that's kind of how it started, and that's where we took it back to, so we could start again. But yeah, it's all the release. We've got a couple more tunes in the bank now, so we can start. Yeah, we've got a couple three finished now, and loads more demoed up and ready to be sent to the studio. So it's
it sounds good. Like you said to me just before we started, like the difference in quality of cartoons, like the video of it and stuff, like it was up another level. And like you're not going to lie and say you can't tell the difference in quality in terms of it looks superb, like, but but it also helps that I think it's a really, really good song. And I think the fact that you were able to, you put that out with that quality of a video, I think definitely helps, doesn't it, to grow, because you can put clips on TikTok and all the rest of it, and Instagram and things, and kind of spread the word of it in various ways these days, can you?
Yeah, shout out to Sophie Magnolia. Magnolia Looks, her handle is on Twitter and Instagram. She's the talented girl who put the video together and edited it for us and done all that malark, which we don't know about. But yeah, that was one of the things we discussed, was creating a more professional atmosphere in the band after we got rid of the old, which is our new management is really helping us with. And yeah, as you say, that was one of the aims, was to stop making content which wasn't up to the quality standard that we wanted, and take it a lot more seriously, which we thought we were doing under wrong advice. And then new people have come in and just went like, it needs to be a lot more professional. And and we've obviously seen the rewards from that with the views on cartoons, and then we landed on an Apple Music playlist, rock new in rock. So yeah, hopefully it carries on going them ways.
I think what's important is that.
Go on, sorry.
Sorry, go on. I was just going to say, I think what's important, especially within the industry that we're in, I think it's being aware that there's always the next level you can take it to. It's having that self-awareness to go, right, we need to step it up again now. We need to keep this train going. We need to make, better music, different music. We need to do something cool at a live show, and, we need to step it up. And it's just about keeping that train going. And, because ultimately this is what we want to be doing with our lives, and if we don't make that step up, then we're not going to be able to do that. What were you going to say, Si? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say just one of the things which a few of the rappers and MCs who I've spoken to recently have said is it's so expensive to get like a hip hop video or whatever made for your song, that they have to be quite creative with with how they make their music videos and stuff. And I guess you've got to just try and work with the budget you got, and then use the people really in it. And
there's a really funny story about that. So I'm not sure if we'd released it at the time last year. We released a song called Milk and Honey.
Yes.
Had we released that by the time last year? No. When was that released?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just after, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we recorded a music video for that. We just did that ourselves on a mobile phone. And we did that at the crack of dawn on Crosby Beach. And it was like, what time was it? Like 4:30 in the morning. We had to be there. I had to wake up at like 3 o'clock because we wanted to get the crack of dawn in. So we wanted the sunrise. And the whole music video, the premise of it was that it was one long take. So it was pretty much we get it right. What we have to get it right the first time. And it was really funny because we were running up the beach and we got to the other end of the beach where the music video kind of ended, and there was a there was a Scouse rapper making his own music video at 5 bells in the morning, and it's like, is this what it's for? Like, is this what Crosby Beach is reserved for? Like, between the hours of 4 and 7 a.m. is people filming music videos.
Fucking the shit thing about that as well is we went there specifically to get away from the public. So it was a fucking empty beach, and it looked like a raw, like, empty beach. No one's there. Get the sunrise in. The fucking video, firstly, we didn't get the fucking sunrise.
You cocked up when you were filming.
I cocked up and didn't even get it in. I had to run backwards for 4 minutes on sand. I don't know how I managed it. I nearly collapsed. Our drummer, Pab, was running forwards, like, with Walker, with the speaker playing the track, and Walker's 10 feet behind us getting videoed singing the track. And yet we went for the empty beach, and fucking MC Scouse is over on the left rapping his head off, fucking making his music video. Like, fuck's sake, if he's in the shot, I swear to God.
It's like that Spider-Man meme, you know, when they're like pointing at each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a surprise to find somebody else.
But you got to
do
what you got to do, haven't you? You got to just do what you need to, and I guess.
But yeah, we've come a long way since that, from filming on mobile phones, and we're filming in studios now instead. And I think, yeah, but like we said before, there's always the next level you can take. There's always something better, isn't there? There's always
100%.
That's what you can do. I think that we've proved that in the cartoons music video. It's much more professional. I think if you're trying to get a professional image across with your music, I think, you know, we strive to such a high level when we're recording music, and then when you release a music video that isn't necessarily up to the same standard as the music that you've just released, it's like, it's a bit of an oxymoron, bit of juxtaposition. It's like, well, what are you? Are you the rough and ready band, or are you the polished finished piece? I think we've proven that we can do a lot better now. So yeah, that's the level we've got to stick to.
Now we're gonna always be fucking skint because we've got to do a proper video for every track.
That's it, don't it? I think these things cost money. Like, and funny enough, that was one of the reasons, like, at the start of this year, where I wanted to move to doing stuff in a studio and doing stuff in person, because I felt like no matter how good my graphics and my overlays and my video intros and whatever looked, I always felt like doing Zoom interviews and stuff, you know, they can be fine and they can be good, but I always felt like an in-person interview in a studio or filmed on like a high quality camera with that, it just looks better, doesn't it? And I think if you see a clip of, so for instance, the thing I always say is, like, say you got like a clip of me and Rodri talking about football, and it's on, you know, it's on this or on Zoom or whatever, and you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and you see a clip of me and Rodri talking about whatever, and then the next clip is me and Rodri in a nice shiny studio with lights and filmed on like a 4K camera and whatever, and we're talking about the same thing. I think more people stop on the studio one than they do on the online one, just because it's an online Zoom thing, and it's just like a psychological thing in people's heads for whatever reason, even though the clip which is online could be funnier, could be more interesting, whatever. I think it's just the way it is.
Yeah. There's some people, podcasts and non-podcast, like just in music, who do get the rough and ready style like spot on, and it's almost like annoying because like, how are they just using a phone and the videos are massive? But it's more like, yeah, you got to have the right stylistic to it. But yeah, next time we're playing a gig down in Wales or even in the south of England, we'll give you the shout, and on the way down or the way back, we'll pop into your studio and we'll do an in-person one. And yeah, I'll bring my big long Scouse ass into that studio.
I think just nipping back to what you were saying about that like rough and ready look, the inspiration for that Milk and Honey music video was what was this, the Holly Humberston song Overkill, and the music video is like quite similar. It's filmed in one shot, filmed on a mobile phone, I think Holly Humberston really got that point across, like the homemade bedroom. I think ours was slightly off key from what we set out to achieve. And it's a great music video. Check it out. It's called Overkill by Holly.
We'll have a look at that. Yes, I agree with what Sam just said there. Like, some people are just annoyingly can do it like on the basic, like on a mobile phone or in like a different setting or in a similar setting to what like I might be in or other people might be in, but they just seem to be able to put it off very well. I don't know, maybe I'm just not creative enough to think of whatever they're doing. Like, I don't know what it is like, but
probably got the same. Well, it's like we're really good friends with a band called Clean Cut Kid, and they record all of their own music, so they don't hire an engineer. They may hire someone to master it or do a bit of mixing, but recording their music, they do it solely by themselves on like tape machines and stuff. And I don't think I could ever imagine us doing something like that, just because I don't think we've got the competence to be able to do something like that. But you know, I think it works very well for them because they know them.
It sounds super. That sounds wicked cool, I gotta say.
Have you listened to Clean Cut Kid before?
I've heard of them. Shall I say? I wouldn't say I was like bang into it, but I'm gonna try and just Google them now.
Yeah, it definitely worked there. The latest album, Mother's Milk, was one of my favorite albums last year. I had it on repeat quite a lot. But that style of recording their own music and using, I think they use a tape machine. They record everything onto tape, and it just gives it that authentic sound. I don't think we'd ever be able to manage it. Yeah, vintage almost. And that's what they're about live. Is like, I remember talking to Mike from Clean Cut Kid once, and he said he uses this dead old like bedroom amp. It's not an amp designed for, you know, I think he's played massive shows, but that amp and that guitar perfectly create the exact aesthetic and sound that they're looking for and that they want, that the crowd wants to hear. So it's just about experimenting really and just finding what works for you. And I think now we've stumbled across a good rubric that will work for us.
Yeah, basically, if you're shitter, spend more money on a professional one, and if you're naturally amazing, you rough it. Just fucking save your dough and rough it.
So yeah, if you're naturally talented, just make it what you want. So as we kind of look towards wrapping up, like what's the plan for the next end of this year? I suppose next few months, isn't it? September already.
Yeah, so the plan for us is we're playing show-wise, we're playing Liverpool and Manchester at the moment. And I think we're playing the Away Day Festival when it's reorganised. That's in Sheffield. So we've got 3 dates which we can talk about at the moment that are actually on socials. But there's plenty more gigs coming up, especially outside of Liverpool. We're looking to get further down south again in the autumn. We were down there this summer. So hopefully getting towards London. We've never played a Cardiff show or a Welsh show, but that could be on the cards. But yeah, getting out to Liverpool a lot more this autumn. You are? There's
some good places in Cardiff, mate, for music.
Real man. I think I'd like to get to Scotland. Yeah, Scotland as well. So yeah, gig-wise, we've got Manchester, Liverpool, Sheffield in, and we're not looking. We've got shows in which we're going to announce over the next few weeks and months for around the country. And then as far as music goes, we've got tracks which are coming soon, 3 tracks which are coming out, ready and recorded. And we can't say a date yet, but the next one's around the corner pretty much. So keep your eye out, and there'll be more music videos, more of Walker doing, trying to look cool and when he's not. But if you don't know him, he might look cool, but to me he's a gimp. But if you're into our music, there's definitely tracks coming out this autumn. And if you don't live in Liverpool, Manny, Sheffield, don't worry, because we're announcing more shows.
That's the way. Good stuff. I'll put links to to those gigs, and I'll put links to, obviously, to cartoons and your socials and that in the description. A couple of random questions then. If so, someone asked me this yesterday. If you could have lunch or a night out with 3 people from the music industry, alive or dead, who would they be and why?
3. One of them, it'll have to be John Lennon. Will have to be one of them. I'm not sure if you'd agree on that.
Well, you say yours then.
I think John Lennon definitely. You'd want someone crazy, so you'd probably go for who's a crazy, someone into their party, and Freddie Mercury or what's his face out of the Who, Keith Moon, someone mad. I don't know why I just had Paul Gascoigne coming to me. I don't know, he's not a musician, but just someone crazy like Paul Gascoigne. And then one of my all-time favorite is Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys, so I can't leave him out. And I think Keith Moon, Alex Turner, and who was the other one? Who was the first one? It was the fucking first one. Pardon?
John Lennon.
John Lennon, yeah. How could I forget John Lennon? Fucking hell, I think that would be a cool night out, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Walker sounds a lot more cooler than mine. I think I'd go for Susan Boyle. Pavarotti, the Italian opera singer. And no, lad, that's Andrea Bocelli. Andrea Bocelli's amazing. Susan Boyle, Pavarotti, and Ozzy Osbourne would be the fucking maddest night out, and I reckon we'd go to a casino and I'd just sit there looking at the 3 of them, just like I have assembled the maddest Avenger team ever. Right, so yeah,
Subo and Subo. Yeah, that would be.
Imagine if us 4 came across you 4 on a night out. Me, John Lennon, Freddie Mercury, and Paul Gascoigne, or whatever it was. I think Susan Boyle and Paul Gascoigne would get on well though. Yeah. Who would yours be, Si?
For music, oh god. That's what I was before I'll say mine now. But like, do you know what? Alex Turner, mate. I watched him. Was it Glastonbury they did the other day? Well, anyway, I watched the TV. Yeah. He was on the TV on the festival. I cannot believe like how good live they are. Like it really blows my mind. Like how good they are live. Yeah. Like they just sounds like they've just plugged in a CD. Like it's
yeah, it does.
Superb.
I think yeah. Just so, from my point of view as well, he's just fucking cool, man. And Sam will probably disagree with me because he'll probably call him a gimp for wearing leather trousers or something. But I just fucking think he's so cool, and he was the reason I got into music. Alex Turner. I listened to that first album from the Arctic Monkeys and just went, I fucking want to learn all of that on the guitar. Took me about a year to learn all of it, but then I just don't think I could turn down an opportunity to have dinner with Alex Turner. I think that would be amazing. So all right. What are your other 2 sides on?
My 3, I'd go for like I'd probably go for some mad ones, isn't it? Like I'd have Keith from the Prodigy. Is it Keith Flint? And then I'd go with Bez.
We were talking about Bez last night. We were literally talking about Bez from the Happy Mondays last night.
I want him in his peak though, like when he was like mid-20s off his box. And then my 3rd one, I think I'd go for Jim Morrison from The Doors. I think that'd be a party and a half.
It would, yeah.
Couldn't imagine those 3 groups on like works nights out, bumping into each other at a bar, just being like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
I'm not sure I'd survive a night out with them 3 either, but you know.
Is Pavarotti dead, Posh?
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, I didn't ask if he was alive.
Oh yeah, sorry.
If he was...
No, I thought, well, you're not ending if you're dead, are you? But. No, he was Italian. I think he might have been a posh Italian. I don't understand the Italian accent, so he could have been posh. I don't know. He could have been rough and ready for all I know. Yeah, but no, Pavarotti, just because he is absolutely epic voice, man. And
He's legendary. Subo
Susan
is an
Boyle for the
interesting
culture.
one.
Sue Boyle just for the pop culture, man. The mad thing about Susan Boyle is her voice is unbelievable, but she's just
Yeah.
become like a pop culture figure, and she since the X Factor. But Susan Boyle's amazing voice, but and then just Ozzy Osbourne, because I just want to try and get the three different characters if I could, who were completely different. Nothing to do with being biggest heroes or nothing, but you said a good night out, so that's all I'm planning.
I would like to see Ozzy Osbourne and Bez have a conversation at like 4 o'clock in the morning when they were both in their peak, in their heyday, as it were.
Yeah,
never get to the end of a point.
Yeah, just looking at each other, just mumbling with their eyes. Yeah, but no, their characters. Bez is really, as I say, we talked about Bez last night. Funny watching videos of him at practice, just dancing, because we were like, he actually did nothing, but he did everything at the same time.
No,
because he made the band live. But then if you're actually just like, you know, he wasn't mic'd up or anything, he was just making no noise. You know, like he added nothing to the sound, but he added everything to the show. So there you go.
Yeah. Do you know it's weird when I see him now. Like I see how healthy he looks, and it's quite disconcerting because I'm so used to seeing him look like as I grew up. Like I'm so used to seeing him just look rough and as if he haven't slept for like a week or something. And then I see him now, and he's got his new teeth, and he looks all like healthy and that. Good on him, like you know.
Yeah, man.
But I find it really galling.
Yeah, well, we never really got to see him in the Happy Mondays phase. We've only sort of known him as the, you know,
reality
a YouTube
TV
search.
star.
Like, remember when people talk about Bez the Happy Mondays, and we just YouTubed him and found out who he was. But yeah, Gogglebox star, we know him as. But yeah, it goes to show you can stop doing, you know, negative things in your life if you say if you're addicted to drugs or something, you know, not necessarily the end of the world for everyone. No, man, you can change what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. It's not easy, but you know, it can be done. Nevertheless, I'm going to check out Clean Cut Kid now. They look interesting.
Do it, lad. They're heavy. I feel like Walker made that. We're mates with them all. We're mates with Ross, the drummer.
I see.
By the odd chance that they ever watch this and think, who the fuck are that band? Ross, we are actually mates with Ross, but he's the drummer. Ross is an unbelievable kid, but not a kid. He's well older than us. But yeah, he's 30. So, but yeah, check them out. They're heavy.
Yeah, they should come. They should come on the podcast as well. See, I want to get more bands on. See, but they never bloody reply to their emails. Bands, I've noticed.
You got to get them on socials, like you get us. Say, got to catch them or comment on a post and let them know you are.
That way.
Yeah, commenting on posts catches your eye the most because like it, you know, pops up especially if you've just posted it and like a comment straight away, like you just see it more. Emails going to the abyss, man, going to the ether.
Yeah, I don't read half my emails, I gotta say, but yeah.
And
what was the other one you said? Overkill.
Yeah, that's Holly Humberstone. But if you need Scouse, if you want any more Scouse bands, we've got some good mates in the industry. You can give us a message, and we think we'll know. We'll come on your show if you want to. So give us a message. We'll
always looking for guests, mate.
Yeah, man. There's a few good Kairos are good mates with there, boss. They were gonna be my first. Yeah, the Kairos are cool, man. They probably come on. They play like it's like Rough and Ready, Oasis-y, you know, that 90s Britpop, but like with a modern feel. It's cool. But it's what we'll
nice.
Get you some bands.
Good stuff, man. I like it. We'll definitely have you on again anyway, because I could sit here for like another hour, and I said, what did I say? 40 minutes. That went out the window. We've done 40 minutes on the second bit.
Yeah.
But no, it is what it is. I could sit here and talk to you guys for ages, but we'll kind of wrap it there, mates. But I will drop, like I said, all your stuff in the description so people can check it out. Make sure you subscribe to the Honey Motel YouTube. Check out their Spotify. What else is there? Apple Music. Where should I send them?
all the good stuff. Spotify's, I think, the main one out of all of them, but whatever people you subscribe to on,
All the gigs are on.
and then all the gigs are on our social medias. So just have a look at our social media, and you can see where we'll be playing in the next couple of weeks, months, years. But yeah, thank you very much for having us. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll try it. We'll get down to Wales sometime and do a proper one.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good crack. I would get in, do
Yeah,
it in person, and then go and have a beer or something afterwards or whatever. You know, that'd be good. Come and see a gig as well. Then if you're in Cardiff, definitely. But yeah, well, I feel like this was two separate podcasts. We had like half on music, and the first half was derailed by flat earthers and free speech talk. But,
yeah,
I didn't even know how we got there. We got there from Have a Word, I think. That's where it went.
Did, and comedians and telling the truth about society. But yeah, just goes to show.
So here's a question for you then to finish. Here's a question for you to finish. Here's a question to finish, right? Do you think that what's her face, Liz Truss, will do a good job as the Prime Minister?
No, I think it's. I don't think anybody in the Conservative Party can do a good job especially following on from what Boris has achieved in his time, raising the gas price. Yeah, well, achieved by raising the gas prices, raising the housing market.
She's not even been voted in. She's celebrating as if she's like won the fucking WWE or something. She was fucking just selected by her own party. Like no one wants her in. You know what I mean? Don't wish bad on no one. But there's a Scouse musician called Jamie Webster.
Yeah.
And he sings a chant at every gig, and Paddy the Baddy started it as well. And it goes
Tories.
Fuck the Tories, fuck the. But no, don't wish bad on it. But no, she's not gonna solve the world. But then again, who the fuck is, man? I don't know who's gonna solve the world. If there's anything to solve, maybe we're just all, mad existing organisms on this planet where we don't know where we're going. We don't know what we're doing. In fact, I'm sure that's what we're doing. Let's wrap it up now. That's the most epic way ever to finish. Cut it now. Yeah.